What's happening YouTube? I had a few people on my channel asking for an update about the ENS condition that I had for now perhaps 12, 13 years. So I did a list. I put a list right here with several things because I like to talk in this video actually about kind of side effects that have been developing on this ENS condition in the past 10, 12, 13 years on my body, if you want. So all these are self-experience, not something that I will read about other people. So it's really happening to me, happened to me at some point. Just a small introduction. So my condition, I had the lower turbinate. So on each side we have three turbinates. Upper, it's like pairs, one on each side, obviously. Upper, smallest, mid turbinates, which are mid-sized if you want, and lower turbinates, which are the biggest ones, and that goes all the way back in the nose. So I had the lower one. I believe it will have been completely removed by surgery, and that surgery also cut through the mucosa. And my long-term, if you want, behavior inside the nose is that the nostrils get very, very dry at night when I sleep, and also they get very blocked. So it's both dryness and blockage during nighttime with, and I will explain now what are all the body reactions to this issue in maybe 10 years, rounded up 10 years or so. So we will start a few years after the surgery, and it will just get at some level for the rest of your life, basically, if you have the same thing. So there are many issues that I found to be related to this condition. Let's just try first, and these are also videos that I already have in my on my channel, so you'll find the same histories a little bit. So one of the problems that I developed after the surgery because of this breathing problem at nighttime was my fingernail would get curved. If you look at my channel, you will see there is like a good bump on all fingernails, less on toes. So it's like a bend in the nail. As the nail grows, it bends. And I found this to be directly related to the breathing. At the moments, maybe during some months, I would breathe better. The nails will straighten up again, more or less, not perfectly, but will start growing more flat. But when I would breathe more difficult, it's going to bump again. So it's absolutely following my breathing condition through the year, if you want. So it's really related to the breathing condition. Also, I did put a video in my channel when it's not necessarily very cold outside, just maybe in Celsius. I'm better in Celsius, maybe 5 degrees Celsius. I think it's around maybe 40 Fahrenheit. And below, I get my fingernails. There is no longer blood circulation in my fingernails, in my fingertips, sorry, tips. So usually this last part of the finger will just get really white, like white chalk. There is no blood whatsoever running in there. And I need to put my fingers under runny, warm or hot water to get the blood circulation running again. This also, I have videos on my channel, and this also is completely following the surgery problems. So all these problems I'm going to read about them today happened after the surgery, and at the end of the video I will just try to give you an explanation why all these problems happened after my surgery. So it's what's the link basically, and it's something I've never seen on internet, and I'm going to guess it's the medical field doesn't really tell. It's something. All these were my deductions basically. My eyes got extremely sensitive to light, especially at night. So when I sleep at night, I have this breathing condition. It affects the body. I will explain at the end of the video how. And when I wake up at night, because my sleep is really very interrupted, I will just have extremely sensitive eyes too. I'll give you an example. At the worst moments, when I go in my bathroom, I have this switch on the wall with the light off. The switch has the tiny green LED just so you can see in the dark where is the switch on the wall. That tiny LED light will will make me uncomfortable to see it. So that's how sensitive my eyes get in the dark. I have all the lights in my house. This happens mostly at night. So actually it happens when the outside light starts dimming as the sun sets, and when I wake up at night is the worst. I have all lights in my house on dimmer, so at night I will dim them completely to the minimum level. And also I did install red light bulbs, so it's red light, just like you go in a restaurant, in a disco or something like this. I found the red light, it's much easier on my eyes. The worst light on my eyes would be the LED light, especially the white bright ones. So it doesn't have to be bright, it's just the type of light that my eyes are crazy sensitive. Also, when I was driving my car at night several years ago, I noticed that the lights from the other cars inside the city were just hurting me. It was just uncomfortable. This is how it all started, and then it got worse than that. Another problem is I would walk outside and my teeth, so just I have normal regular teeth, just not sick, my teeth would start hurting after maybe 15-20 minutes walking. Now, so I'm not talking running, just taking a while going to go my groceries done. So I would just have this pain when coming back at home. After 10-15 minutes, my teeth starting to hurt me, and it's uncomfortable. It's not just a tiny hurt, it's just uncomfortable, annoying. I did find a fix for this, but I found it to be again related to my condition. I will give you a tip. The fix, my dentist didn't know what it is. He said, "Oh, your teeth are sensitive, blah blah blah." They have no idea basically. So the fix is just I would drink at least half a glass of water before 10 minutes before going outside. So it's related to dehydration. It's related to the lung condition, and I'll explain at the end of the video how is this related to the nose blockage. Yeah, to help with this teeth pain after walking outside, I need to hydrate myself a lot, and especially before going outside, and also when I'm outside for a longer time. I had also when I would, especially when I would wake up at night, I would have this very powerful something that you don't understand. Is like when you are crazy afraid, it's sudden, like a sudden fear that will make your heart pumping, and you feel your heart, basically you feel it like it's punching in your chest, which normally you don't feel at all, your heartbeat. But I will start having this strong heart beating when I would wake at night, would last for 15, 30, 1 hour. It was crazy. It was like a broken clock inside my chest. Completely felt like a broken something. Regular heartbeat pumping. Again, doctors could never find an answer for this. When I would sleep, I think, yeah, I'm going to explain in detail my sleeping condition. But when I would sleep more profoundly, I would get very, my dreams are going to get completely different when I was a child, let's say, so before the surgery. My dreams are sometimes get extremely real, and it's scary. It gets like I'm in a completely different world, and when I wake up, I just feel like I'm switching reality. I just cannot explain more than this, but this also, it's caused by this breathing condition, by problems with blood oxygenation, blood removal of carbon dioxide from blood, and I'll explain at the end of the video how this works together. Talking about sleep, I think it's because my problems with breathing are mostly during the nighttime. During daytime, I'm not exactly uncomfortable about my breathing. When I'm asleep, I do have this blockage and dryness. And basically, this is pretty sure the worst part of this condition, because I can tell you that in the past 12 years, or after the time that has passed since the surgery, I don't like to use these words because I know there are people out there that may have a similar condition. I don't want to sound too discouraging, but at the same time I need to just expose the problem, you know. So I can tell that unfortunately my sleep time has been, I will perhaps call it, destroyed. And perhaps one positive part of this is that you never know how resilient your body can be actually. If I will tell someone that I'm sleeping in this way for the past 10 years, that person will not believe me it's possible. But at some point, actually, the body does get somehow used to this. It's crazy how less hours and less quality sleep you can get through the night and still just keep going on, you know, normally have a life basically. But what happens is that I would, first off, the sleep is completely different than when I was healthy. And it's a less refreshing and less, I don't know what's the name in English, but you know, the sleep normally is regenerating your body and your brain as well. So all this is very much gone. So it's much less helpful for my body, the sleep that I have right now. I would usually go quite early at sleep, and I would sleep 2 blocks about 4 hours. So I would sleep 4 hours, and this is going to be the deeper sleep. I will wake up in the night and I will stay 3-4 hours awake at the night. Usually it's from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. or so, and then I will go back to sleep another 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours. The first block of sleeping is the deepest one, and I explained in another video how I kind of survived through this. Is that I ceased basically to eat after 1 p.m. or so. I will just eat maybe small bits of bread or something like this. It's this part of not eating about 7-8 hours before going to bed. It's extremely important. If it's extremely important to get the first block of sleep, from the first 4 hours of sleep, to get them acceptable. If I would eat before going to sleep this first 4 hour block, it's too horrible. I don't even want to remember what that was in the past. I don't want to remember. It's so frightening. So that's one way that I manage myself to get through this kind of situation, not eating many hours before going to bed also. And just search my playlist. Perhaps I'll put the playlist in the comment section. Search into the playlist the video where I talk about the relief on ENS condition. The relief, it's really this kind of diet. I explained in that video. Also check the comments in that video. So yeah, I have this first 4 hours of sleep, a block that we call it. It's the deepest sleep, and then I will wake up 3-4 hours in the night, and then actually I will eat a little bit of bread during my awakened hours in the night. And then I will go back to sleep 4 more hours, 3-4 more hours, and this is a lighter sleep. And that's why I can actually eat a little bit of bread. Usually I try to eat very dry bread, nothing that's too difficult to digest. So something that is crusty, that I found it's the easiest to digest. And I will sleep again for 3 more hours. Usually it's already daylight outside, and this is a lighter sleep. And it's a sleep also when I get more dreams, and it's a sleep when I can go to sleep after eating something. But the first 4 block hours when I start my night of sleeping, I must be with an empty stomach. Very important. This obviously, I need to tell you, I was an engineer, and I actually I did a burnout, but it was more than the burnout when at the moment when I did the surgery. So I have to leave that job. It's impossible, I think, to have this condition and to have a job that you do with your head. Even a physical job is difficult because your nights are not resting, and you may not be able to start your job at 8 or 9 a.m. So perhaps you are going to get a job in the afternoon, evening, but it's not going to be intellectual job. It's impossible because your brain, because of the very poor sleeping condition, your brain is no longer going to be at the top shape. You are just going to lose capacities, intellectual capacities. When I type at the computer, when I type a comment on YouTube, perhaps I will just start confusing letters or even sometimes words. So it does affect your brain not sleeping for many, many years properly. So this is another consequence. Also, I found out that I'm starting having problems with my very short-term memory. I would take something in my hand, I would put it, and I would just walk into my room, and I would put that thing down at a place that I will not remember 5 seconds later. So it's just a problem with the memory. Also, I would try to do something. I would put in my mind, I'm going to do something, maybe walk in another room and do something. And when I'm in that room, I will forget what it is. So the brain starts being affected, obviously, because you don't have a good sleep. When before I started this diet that I talked in another video, which I strongly recommend you check it out. Before that diet, I would wake up myself at night, and I would have a very weird breathing in my chest. So normally you would breathe just normal like this, but when I would wake up at night because of nose blockage and dryness, I would feel basically I would find myself breathing in the sleep. I would find myself doing a very struggling breathing in the chest, not only through the nose, which was almost blocked, but through the chest. It would feel like it was like all the lungs were up here in my chest. It was a quite scary sensation to feel like you are basically breathing like this while asleep. Also, you may find that you get suddenly tired when you do an exercise, physical exercising or something like this. You will find that all of a sudden you get really, it's like someone unplugs you. And this is related to a problem with the lungs, which I'll explain in a moment. All this related to the nose condition after the surgery. Yeah, I need to drink water. I will need to drink at least half a cup of water every hour or every 30 minutes during the day. And why I'm saying this, it's because basically I need to do it, otherwise my nostrils are going to get really stuck and dry at night. So I really need to pay attention during the day to keep drinking water. And I'm saying this because before the surgery, I would never, ever had problems drinking water whatsoever. I would drink very little water. I was very, very healthy. So it's really related to the condition after the surgery, this need of drinking so much water through the day. So yeah, it's another thing you need to be aware. You need to drink water. Yeah, let's now jump. I think I went through the list, and let's just jump about these conditions. All this, I call them side effects, long-term side effects of the turbinectomy, turbinate surgery. All this, how are these side effects connected to the as a consequence of the surgery? So basically what the surgery did to me is that the doctor did remove the lower turbinates, the big ones, and he also cut through the mucosa to expose and remove the turbinate. Turbinate is like a spongy bony underneath the mucosa, and mucosa keeps the humidity inside your nose. And it's extremely important, this humidity. Doctors don't tell you, and nobody is telling it, how important is crucial this humidity. Basically, for the lungs to function, you need to have gas exchange inside the lungs, oxygen and carbon dioxide. And for this to work, it has to have inside the lungs a very high degree of humidity, which the ambient air does not have it. This humidity that the lungs need to function it's getting exactly from the mucosa inside the nostrils. And when the doctors remove the turbinates in some types of surgeries, and by the way, radiofrequency, it seems it also damages, the mucosa gets damaged. When the mucosa gets damaged, it's no longer humidifying the lungs. And when the lungs are not humidified inside your chest, inside your upper trunk, the gas exchange between oxygen and carbon dioxide doesn't happen properly. So this may have a consequence on the heart heart rhythm at night, at least in my condition. So the heart may try to compensate for the gas exchange to happen properly when I sleep. And the fact that the heart may be beating stronger during when I'm asleep, that may affect actually a very tiny blood vessel at the extremities. And when I say extremities, it may be at the tip of the fingers, it may be inside the eyes. We have very tiny blood vessels. It may be at the tip or inside the teeth. So I may forget now, but so all these dryness inside the nose, problem with gas exchange inside the lungs, the heart tried to compensate this, the blood vessels, tiny blood vessels at certain parts of the body, extremities, will just perhaps will suffer a change because of the heart pumping more when you are asleep. All this made these changes. When I say my teeth started to hurt when I'm outside, my fingers started to lose circulation, fingernails bent, and so on. So all its consequences of dryness, lung functioning, pump, heart extra working during night sleep. So all this, it's like a cascade of consequences, if you want. That's why I consider all these side effects to be completely related to the nose condition after the surgery. So that's my explanation. It's more or less, I'm not getting into too much detail now, but I think that because the nose is dry and also partially blocked at night, and the lungs don't work properly, the lung physiology, I think, is like it's just the structure inside the lungs may change after a while. And my impression is that I get dehydrated very, very easily, much faster than normal. When I walk outside, the lung will lose humidity much easier than in a normal person. So I think the lung structure, the base of the lung structure is like a small spheres where you have gas exchange. They get affected and they get changed after a few years with this condition. So this also explains some of these side effects. So yeah, it's the body, some parts of the body would react to problems with breathing after turbinate surgery. And they cause these many side effects, and also poor sleep quality, and so on and so on. So yeah, this is an update. Like I said, this has been perhaps 12, 13 years after the surgery right now. Be sure to look in the comment section where I put a link for it's a playlist, but in that playlist try to read that video about the kind of relief that I found with the diet, and I explain why the diet it's affecting, actually it's helping with the breathing at night. Also check the video, I'll put a video about these devices. If you, after the surgery, turbinate removal, you feel you are breathing too much, you feel like it's like you feel a lot of anxiety, you feel like you are suffocating because there's too much air getting into your nose, check out the video where I explain about these devices. This may help you actually. Other than that, let us know in the comment section about your own condition, own experience, and just keep watching this channel perhaps for future updates. Thanks for watching.